Honestly, you do not know hardship until you've been to Africa and then come back to England in February. Said the most out of touch influencer ever. I am joking, guys, but seriously, whoo-hoo! It is cold. It's been a bit of a bump back to reality, especially as the fact that Hobbs isn't here at the minute. Hobbs, quite rightly, whenever I go away, she's like, well, tit for tat, young lady. So she went straight off to Tenerife. We need to give some ponies a bit of hay. Straight off to Tenerife, literally the day I got home. So much so that I didn't even properly see her. We stopped in a lay-by, like when we were passing on the roads, just so I could give Mum and Dad a little hug. And then they could head off on their holiday. Anyway, hi Bear. Shall we talk about the subject matter of this video? Wilma Woo over here. Guys, there has been a bit of a recurrent theme in my comments recently, and I don't really know how, but it's led me to have to make, well, not have to, but want to make this video just so I can clear everything up. So basically, everyone thinks that I'm selling Wilma. In fact, some people think that Wilma, there's been a lot of concerned people thinking she's just disappeared off the face of the earth. As you can see, she's still alive and kicking. She's in the barn. She's just been on a winter break. Well, this is obviously a while ago. When was it? So we're journeying back to December. Essentially, I got her and Winnie ready for London Horse Show in case, you never know what's going to happen with horses. They can pull a shoe, they can do something stupid. I just wanted to make sure I had 2 horses that could go to London. As soon as I kind of realised Winnie was the one going, Wilma went on her proper winter break. So that is why you haven't seen loads and loads of her, on my socials in January. It is now February. She is fully back in work. She's just been coming back to work a little bit slower. I wanted to do lots of hacking. She is now schooling. She hasn't yet had her first jump. Could actually pop her over a fence today if Pete turns up to film. But I do want to have a little bit of a chat about her because Wilma has got a plan this year and she's got a bit of a different plan to the other horses. And I wasn't necessarily gonna blurt it all over social media. However, upon reflection, I think it is actually quite good to talk about. So I'm going to go and grab some tack so that I can tack her up whilst talking to you guys. In the meantime, let me quickly tell you about the paid partner of this video. So I'm really pleased to be partnering up with BetterHelp again on this video. Now, I know I've spoken about them a little bit in the past, and it's always been with quite kind of heavy, hard-hitting topics. I spoke about my OCD because that was something that I had therapy for when I was younger. But when I had a meeting with them the other day, they were saying that this time of year especially, because we've gone into a new year, we've had Valentine's Day, relationships are something that people often seek therapy for. And initially, I kind of thought, gosh, I'm so lucky with Pete because he's always a part of my life that brings me up rather than puts me down. But it did get me thinking to a time that I did actually have therapy following a breakup. So at the time, I was actually seeing a therapist for my confidence, for my riding. It was something I was exploring, almost like sports psychology, I guess. But I'd gone through this really messy, heartbreaking breakup. And I remember one session, we kind of got started, and she looked at me and she was like, what's wrong? What's going on? And I was like, she kind of had to really sort of pick it out of me. But I sort of said, look, I've gone through this breakup and I can't think straight. Nothing you're saying, nothing I'm doing is actually going in because I have just got this complete weight on me and that's all I can think about. So we ended up having this hour session just talking about this breakup and going through it bit by bit. And it was so helpful for me to have someone that didn't know the person I was with. They had no preconceived opinions on him or anything like that. And we just unpicked everything and we laid it all on the table and we went through why I was feeling so anxious and all of these unanswered questions that had been going round and round in my head that I was too scared to ask to him. It actually is really helpful to talk those things through with someone else, whether it's a romantic relationship, if it's family, friendship, whatever it is, it can be really heavy going through it by yourself. And that's where BetterHelp can come in. So after a short questionnaire, they will match you up with a therapist. Now, I know that might sound a bit scary because you might think, what if I don't click with them? It is free to change therapists at any time, and they make sure they're all well qualified. They've got a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot and over 7,000 reviews. The best part is there's so much the platform has to offer. So obviously you get that one-to-one time with your therapist. You can also use the messaging system, but they've got online seminars that you can do daily. Sometimes the topics might really relate to you, sometimes they might not, but it's just nice to know that it's there. So if you think that therapy could benefit you for whatever reason, it doesn't have to be this big, massive thing. It can just be that you need to talk something through with someone that you know is going to listen. Then you can use my link, which is betterhelp.com/Elphick, and that will get you 10% off your first month of therapy. Right, let's go tack this pony up. Absolutely do not try this at home, but basically Jam's light has not been going on for the past few days. Obviously King Kenny's not here. I've just got a feeling that if I, with a broom, it might like resurrect it. So I'm going to quickly see. Oh no. It's all right, Wilms. Well, if anything, that's made it worse. Here she is in all her glory. Wilma, we need to get naked, babes. She says no. Bless her. She's got this funny little, like, rash on her face. Well, it started off like a rash. I'll show you guys in a minute. But she's now lost a load of hair on it, and she looks a bit moth-eaten. I feel a bit bad. Let me show you quickly. Wilms. Oh, the camera's trying to track me, not her. Oh, I know. Can you see there, like, underneath? Oh, she says, that's why I've not been in loads of Instagram photos. No, that's very shallow. That is not the reason, but I don't really know what's caused it. Obviously, like, we're trying to be as careful as possible. None of the other horses have got it, but we're doing, like, separate brushes and head collars and things like that. But it's odd. She's never had it before with us, but who knows? It has been a very, very wet winter here in England. So, as I said, plans for Wilma. I did speak about this a tiny bit when I did my Q&A, like right at the start of the year. I said that I was going to be getting some more tailored help with her this year. So, it's no secret that last season with her, it didn't go how I envisioned it. Obviously, I bought Wilma to have, firstly, a bit of a bigger horse, but secondly, a horse that would find, potentially going up the levels, but even more so, like, just find the 100s and the 105s and the 1 stars, like that kind of level, find that a bit easier, because I'm well aware, like, Jammy is very, very scopy, as is Winnie, but they're not very big, and it potentially is going to be their kind of maximum limit. So Wilma was definitely purchased to be, like, one of my top event horses, and yeah, fingers crossed to go. When I say up the levels, I feel like I have to do the little boop boop, because by no means do I mean go up the levels all the way to the top. I would just like to do some 1 stars, 105s, maybe a novice, maybe not. So yeah, as I was saying, it's no secret that last year's season didn't go exactly to plan. We did have some really good runs, like she came 3rd at a B80, she won an event, like she did definitely get some good results that made me think, oh, like she's very exciting. And she's definitely, like, she's nice and scopy, she moves beautifully, her dressage was coming on so much. Sorry, Wilma, brace yourself, baby girl. Oh, she says it's cold, mummy. It's not actually that bad today. But we did also have a few moments that were just less than ideal. And those moments are that she gets, I think it's spookiness, like that's what I think it is. She gets spooky, and about 3 or 4 strides out from a fence, she suddenly slams the brakes on and she immediately reverses, which obviously when you're eventing immediately gives you like a stop, so a 20 penalties or a 4 faults in the show jumping, because it happened in show jumping and in the cross country. So that was basically my biggest issue with her last season. And I've thought about it so much, I've hummed and hawed, I've like replayed the footage, I've tried to analyse it if it's something I'm doing. I spoke to someone who imports a lot of horses from Ireland that have done hunting. which is obviously basically what Wilma had done. Like before she went to Ardeo, hunting was all she'd done. And she told me that she finds a lot of the time, if they've done lots of hunting, then they can be very, very aware of the ground. And because Ireland's very wet and they get all the like ditches and everything, apparently when they notice a ground change, they can really suddenly be like, oh, brakes, and sort of get out of it because they don't want to get sucked into the mud. And that is sort of a bit in keeping with how she reacts. And so then I was like, oh, okay, is it when there's stones before a fence? So again, it's all these things that to be honest, I'm still in the process of actually sort of looking over. However, I've come to the conclusion that I need some help with her, basically. I do really think she's a very special horse. I think she's very talented. She's really smart. She's very willing. She's got a nice attitude. And I think I'm at a bit of a crossroads where if I don't take the right steps, potentially I'm going to sort of ruin her and basically cement this trait, which will then mean like she can't be an event horse. Just need the hoof pick bucket. So my plan, to be careful the camera doesn't fall off the door, taking the saddle off. My plan is to get some professional help. Now, obviously, you guys will know that she has been sat on by professionals. Ellie Fredericks has ridden her and Simey has obviously ridden her, but not in a competition scenario. And that is the environment that I'm struggling with her the most. Like, I'm not really having those moments, like maybe very, very, very infrequently, or like a minor version of, but I'm not really having them at home or in training. So I am going to let someone else start the season. I say someone else, Simon is going to ride Wilma at her first event this year. Now, the reason I said that I wasn't sure I was going to put this on social media that much, I've got a brown girth with black saddle. Is that forgivable? Guys, you're going to have to forgive me. Sorry, it's winter and we've every daylight hour is sacred. I'm a bit ashamed to admit that when I was younger, I was one of those people that absolutely hated other people riding my horses or my ponies. I was that little brat that basically, the reason behind it was I didn't want other people doing it because then I thought that I wouldn't be able to, basically, it sounds so shallow, but take credit for the horse. I thought that it invalidated all of my work and that if someone else rode it, it basically meant they produced the horse and I hadn't. And because I only ever really, well, that's a bit of a lie, but I had a lot of young horses growing up. They were my babies and I was really proud of producing them. However, I must be slightly more grown up now because I am actually really keen to share this with you. So my thinking is, I don't really want to stop her eating hay while I'm still gassing to you guys. She may as well keep eating. I am obviously just an amateur rider and I keep trying to explain the feeling to Simon because I obviously train with him, but I don't think I'm doing a very good job of it, or maybe I'm not picking up, like I was saying, I'm not actually picking up on something she's doing. The only way I think that I can actually get a really good idea and a really honest opinion is to have him take her around an event. So we're still discussing the plans, but I think most likely I'll get Wilma eventing fit, do all the training. Potentially we'll meet Simon somewhere so he can have a sit on her, and then maybe the week before the event she'll go to his, just to basically give her the benefit of the doubt so that she can learn to trust him a little bit. Simon can, it doesn't take Simon very long to adjust to a new horse, let's be real, but it gives him a bit more of a chance to just know her buttons. And then we need to find an event for him to go to. I think he'll probably take her to a 90, so I've only done 80s on her, but we're wondering a little bit, is the issue that she's finding it so small and so easy that she's sort of making her own fun up in her head. So yeah, we need to find a 90, and then Simon is going to take her around. The reason I wanted to do it as the first event, because again, like her training's gone really well. She's really filled out. I had National Saddle Centre here, my lovely sponsors, the other day, and they refitted her saddle. Bearing in mind they'd come in November, and they were like, even since November, she's massively changed and massively filled out. Wilms, come here, sweetie. So I do think that I might have a completely different horse to what I had last year. She's definitely changed a lot. So part of me was thinking, oh, you know, do I attempt to take her to the first event to see how we get on, and then if I have a problem, send her to Simon after? But the more logically I think, the more it makes sense to actually give Wilma a really positive first run of the year. There's a very high chance that she won't do anything with Simon because she's going to sense she's got a much stronger, more experienced, more confident rider on board. And it's not like she does it every single time with me. So I'm well aware that she might just fly around and there will be no problems. But that would still be, like, it will still be worthwhile because Wilma will have still had a positive experience. And she is a bit of a sensitive mare. She's an overthinker. You wouldn't, like, she doesn't really come across like that. But having gotten to know her, like, over the last year, she actually does overthink a lot. So having a good, positive first run, I think will actually count for a lot more than I could ever imagine. So yeah, that is the plan with Wilms this season. Now this season is going to be a little bit make or break for Wilma in terms of whether she enjoys eventing. You know, if she goes around with Simon and she's still backing off everything and Simon's not getting a good ride from her, I'll do a few more events, and I just want to really assess the whole thing. I do, like, if possible, I really, really, really want to hold on to this horse and I want her to be an event horse. However, my main concern is that she's happy and she's doing a job she loves. So if we do get through the season and I have the professional help and we don't make any progress, then potentially it's going to be a time where we think, okay, does Wilma want to be an event horse? Do I still want her for renting? Do I want to do something else with her? Or is she better off going to a home, you know, where she's doing a different job? That just made me feel so guilty. Wilms, I really don't think it's going to come to this. I promise, darling. Oh, God. I always try to be so pragmatic about these things. Oh, and then realistically, you just end up staying forever anyway, don't you? Like Bear. Bear decided she wasn't very good at eventing and she's still here, isn't she? Hey? She started letting me kiss her. It's very exciting. Yeah, so we'll see. But I do really think that it's an issue we can get to the bottom of, especially the fact that it doesn't happen every single time we go out. I think that's really positive. I just want to try and find a bit of a pattern with it and get some help. And like I said, I can't do a good enough job explaining it or riding it to be able to fix it. So enter Simon, and hopefully he will help us get to the bottom of it. So I am going to be vlogging as much as possible. Obviously Simon's got his channel now, so I'm sure that Wilma will be appearing on his channel. It's not like I haven't finalised anything. This is just a rough plan. The only reason, like, I was never planning on announcing it per se, but honestly, the comments I've had saying that they think she's been sold and this, that and the other, I was like, I just need to put something out just to clear the air. But I expect it'll be, I'd say probably April, to be honest, because we need Siamese to actually dry up so you can go and stay there, don't we? Hey, what is that on your face, you poor pony? Right, I'm going to go warm her up. Hopefully Pete will arrive and I'll pop her over a fence outside quickly. It won't be anything interesting because she just needs to literally pop one little jump. But if he doesn't, I live, laugh, love you, and I will see you very, very soon. I hope you guys appreciate the update. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see. I feel like I've not been on YouTube very much recently because of Africa, and then after Vlogmas I was really quiet. So if there are any bits that you just want to catch up on and we can do these kind of tacky up, chilled vlogs, then yeah, let me know. All right, fingers crossed I'll see you in the arena. Otherwise, I live, laugh, love you. Do you like the tracking? Okay, cool. Bye.